This is TLC to go.
Welcome to the Deep Dive, your shortcut to being well-informed. Ever had that moment, where a student is just struggling, maybe trying to pull together everything they know into a solid diagnostic approach?
Oh, definitely. Or maybe they're just completely overwhelmed by, say, doing a full patient handoff under pressure. It's intense.
Exactly. It's a really common challenge for health sciences educators, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
How do you guide learners through these incredibly intricate, high-stakes tasks without, just handing them the answers?
Right. Finding that balance is key.
Well, today we're diving into an educational strategy that's, frankly, incredibly effective for doing just that, especially for those of you teaching future healthcare professionals. And we're pulling all our insights directly from the UTHSC Teaching and Learning Center.
Ah, yes. They're a fantastic resource, really dedicated to supporting faculty, especially in health sciences.
Absolutely. They offer so many programs, events, resources, all aimed at enhancing educational practice. So our big topic today is scaffolding in education.
Scaffolding. It sounds kind of like construction, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's a perfect way to think about it. It's a foundational strategy for designing learning experiences that really empower students to master complex skills. So our mission today, we want to unpack what scaffolding actually is, explore its impact, particularly for you health sciences faculty, and then crucially, give you some practical, actionable tips you can use, like right away.
And it's all grounded in the materials from the UTHSC Teaching and Learning Center.
Precisely. So let's start there. What exactly is scaffolding when we talk about learning?
Okay, so at its heart, scaffolding means providing structured, temporary support. It helps learners tackle tasks that are just a bit beyond what they can do independently right now. Think about those structures on a building site, like you said. They're essential during construction, right? But once the building can stand on its own...
They come down.
Exactly. In education, we gradually reduce that support as the learner gets more competent, more confident. The goal is fostering autonomy.
Makes sense.
And this idea, it's got deep roots. It goes back to Vygotsky's theory of the Zone of Proximal Development.
Ah, the ZPD, that sweet spot for learning.
Precisely, where things are challenging enough to stretch the learner, but achievable with the right guidance.
And why is this particularly vital in health sciences?
Well, think about it. Our learners are constantly dealing with incredibly complex clinical reasoning, tough diagnostic puzzles, high-stakes procedures. The margin for error can be, critical.
No kidding.
So scaffolding lets educators skillfully support that competence development without just overwhelming the student. It keeps the challenge appropriate, stretching them, but not pushing them to the point of frustration where they just shut down.
It's about building that solid foundation for their expertise step by step.
Exactly.
Okay, so it helps manage complexity.
Yeah.
What about the other benefits? You mentioned its impact is profound. What does that look like in health sciences?
Well, one huge benefit is how it promotes deeper clinical reasoning and application. It's not just about knowing the facts.
Right, it's about using them.
Yes. Applying that knowledge in often ambiguous, fast-paced clinical situations. Scaffolding really helps bridge that gap between textbook knowledge and real-world practice. There's research, Van de Poel and colleagues back in 2010 showing that scaffolded instruction really boosts a student's ability to synthesize information and apply it in complex problem solving.
So moving beyond just memorizing facts to actually thinking like a clinician, interpreting labs, seeing patterns, making those nuanced decisions.
That's the goal, turning knowledge into real expertise.
And what about independence? We want future professionals who can think on their feet.
Absolutely critical. And that's another major benefit. Scaffolding really supports skill development and learner autonomy. It empowers students to gradually take more ownership.
How so?
Well, think about developing clinical judgment or becoming a self-regulated learner. Instead of always needing a detailed checklist for, say, a differential diagnosis, the student starts to internalize the process. They begin asking the right questions, prioritizing information themselves.
I see. They build the internal framework.
Exactly. And we see this in studies, too, like a randomized controlled trial by Zhu and others in 2025. They found scaffolded case-based learning significantly improved clinical reasoning and self-directed learning behaviors in anesthesiology residents.
Wow, compared to traditional lectures.
Yes, and even educational satisfaction went up. It really shows how scaffolding nurtures those independent, lifelong learners we need.
That's huge for engagement and actual capability. It also sounds like it could help with just the sheer amount of information they face. Cognitive overload seems like a constant battle.
Oh, absolutely. And that's sort of quiet hero of scaffolding, reducing cognitive overload. Health sciences information is dense.
Understatement of the year.
Right. Imagine a first-year student trying to grasp, I don't know, complex clinical documentation rules or diagnostic reasoning for the first time. It can feel like drowning. So well-structured scaffolds help manage that load. Things like queuing, breaking information into smaller chunks, chunking, or sequencing information progressively. Research by Van Nooyen et al., just this year, 2024, showed these techniques effectively regulate what hits the working memory.
So it makes learning more efficient,
Yeah,
less overwhelming.
precisely. It prevents that feeling of being swamped and allows them to actually process and learn.
What's really striking here is that these aren't just helping students learn what to do.
No, it's more fundamental. It changes how they learn. It builds lasting skills, an adaptable mindset they can take forward and apply to new challenges long after that specific lesson ends.
So it's about creating agile, critical thinkers, essential in healthcare today.
Indispensable.
Okay, this is incredibly helpful in understanding the why. It brings us perfectly to the really practical part. For our faculty listeners, how do they actually apply these ideas? What are some concrete things they can start doing, maybe tomorrow, in their classroom or clinic?
All right, let's get practical. And the UTHSC resources offer some great adaptable strategies here. First off, a really foundational step. Break complex tasks into smaller, manageable steps.
Okay, like that patient handoff example.
Exactly. Instead of expecting mastery all at once, break it down. Maybe first focus just on the SBR communication part, concise status reporting. Then practice anticipating questions. Then work on identifying critical decision points.
Those stages.
Right. You could use visual aids, checklists for each stage, or outlines to guide them. They master each piece before putting it all together.
Got it. What's next?
Second, and this is so powerful, model your expert thinking and decision-making out loud.
Ah, the think aloud approach.
Yes, it makes the invisible visible. When you're interpreting tricky lab results or doing a physical exam, literally narrate your thought process. Okay, seeing these electrolytes makes me think X because of Y, but I also need to consider Z, which makes me want to ask this next question.
It demystifies the process for them.
Completely. It shows them how you reason, not just the final answer. Builds huge confidence.
Okay, so break it down, think aloud. What else?
Next, use prompts and guided questions strategically. Resist that urge to just give the answer, especially during rounds or case discussions.
Lead them, don't carry them.
Exactly. Ask probing questions. Instead of saying, this patient needs a broad-spectrum antibiotic, ask, given the presentation and initial cultures, what's your top differential? What class of antibiotics would you consider, and why?
Tailoring the questions to bridge their specific gaps.
Precisely. Help them make the connections themselves.
And then presumably as they get better, you pull back.
You got it. That's the crucial next step. Gradually fade the support. As they build competence, you have to reduce the scaffolds to foster that true autonomy.
Examples.
Maybe you transition from a super detailed checklist for tying a surgical knot to asking them to outline the steps mentally first, or you move from instructor-led simulation practice to peer teaching or self-assessment of a skill.
The goal is always independent proficiency.
Always. And tied right into that is providing formative feedback early and often.
Not just grades, but guidance.
Yes. Real-time, targeted guidance. In the clinic, maybe it's quick verbal coaching during an interaction. Did you notice the slight tremor there? Or pointing out a missed finding immediately.
And in the classroom.
Could be using rubrics for case write-ups, peer review via digital tools. The key is specific, timely feedback highlighting strengths and areas for growth so they can adjust while they're still learning it.
Makes sense. Any other key strategies?
One more really valuable one. Incorporate peer and collaborative scaffolding. Don't underestimate how much students learn from each other.
How would that look?
Design structured activities. Maybe peer review of clinical notes, students giving feedback on each other's SOAP notes using a simple guide. Or role-playing difficult conversations like breaking bad news with peers providing immediate feedback.
Co-constructing things together.
Yeah, like co-constructed case studies where groups tackle a complex patient problem together. It encourages collective problem solving, knowledge sharing. They learn from multiple perspectives.
So putting this all together, it means these subtle but powerful shifts in how you interact with students daily.
Right.
How you present things, guide practice, foster that independence.
Exactly. It's about building this robust, dynamic foundation that actually evolves with their capabilities.
They're looking at the bigger picture. These aren't just separate tips you sprinkle in.
Not at all. They're interconnected. When you use them together, they build a truly comprehensive support system for your learners. They create an environment where difficult tasks become doable.
Where students feel supported but also pushed to grow.
Right. Empowered to push their own boundaries and achieve genuine mastery.
Fantastic. So for faculty listening who think, okay, I want to learn more, where can they go? You mentioned the UTHSC Teaching and Learning Center resources.
Yes, and they point to several specific, really valuable sources on their site. If you want a good conceptual overview, there's scaffolding content from the University at Buffalo's Office of Curriculum, Assessment, and Teaching Transformation. For more practical insights, Northern Illinois University Center for Innovative Teaching and Learning has instructional scaffolding to improve learning.
Useful.
If you're doing online teaching, Nottingham-Trent University has a resource on scaffolding online learning.
Relevant for many now.
Definitely. And for something very health sciences focused, there's a specific UTHSC webinar mentioned. Applying Scaffolding in Didactic and Clinical Environments by Dr. Ann Laverty from the College of Medicine. That really brings it home with field-specific examples.
Great recommendations. And these resources are available through the center to help faculty continue refining their teaching.
Absolutely. They're there to support that journey.
So let's recap quickly. We've deep dived into scaffolding, this idea of targeted, temporary support to help learners soar, especially in the complex health sciences field.
We saw how it fosters that deeper clinical reasoning, builds crucial autonomy.
And importantly, reduces that cognitive overload, helping students truly grasp and apply complex information.
Yeah.
So here's a thought to leave you with. Thinking about the complex skills you teach every day. Maybe it's that nuanced physical exam, crafting a differential, leading a tough patient chat. Where in your curriculum, which specific area might benefit most from looking at it through this scaffolding lens? What small adjustment, maybe in how you ask questions or how you break down that task, could create a really significant aha moment for your students?
That little shift that helps them conquer something they thought was just too hard.
Exactly. Well, thank you for joining us for this deep dive. We really hope you feel more informed and maybe inspired to try some of these powerful strategies.
Hope it was helpful.
And be sure to join us for future deep dives. We'll keep exploring expertly curated sources to help you stay informed and enhance your practice.